Once upon a time, in a quiet town, hidden between golden fields and dusty roads, there lived a girl named Meera. She was known by everyone, yet truly understood by no one. Meera had a habit that people often talked about. She stayed silent. Not for a day, not for a week, for years. As a child, Meera was cheerful and curious. She loved asking questions, laughing loudly, and sharing her thoughts. But as she grew older, life slowly changed her. Every time she spoke her heart, she was misunderstood. When she shared her dreams, people laughed. When she tried to express her pain, she was told, "You're overthinking." Slowly, word by word, she stopped speaking. At first, it was just less talking. Then it became rare. And eventually, silence became her identity. People labeled her. Too quiet, too weak, too boring. But no one ever asked why. Inside, Meera was not empty. She was full of thoughts, ideas, emotions, and dreams. But she had built walls around them. Silence had become her shield. It protected her from judgment, from rejection, from pain. Years passed like this. She went to college, sat in classrooms, completed assignments, and returned home. She had no close friends, no one to share her thoughts with. Her world was calm on the outside, but inside, it was a storm waiting for a voice. One day, something unexpected happened. In her final year, the college announced a public speaking competition. The topic was the power of unspoken words. The moment Meera read it, something stirred inside her. It felt like the topic was calling her. For the first time in years, her heart whispered, "This is your moment." But her mind quickly replied, "No. You can't do this. You don't even speak." For days, she stayed confused. She would sit by her window every evening, watching the sunset, holding a notebook in her hand. Words came into her mind, beautiful and powerful, but her fear stopped her from writing them down. What if people laugh again? What if I fail? What if my voice trembles? But then one night, something changed. As she looked at the sky turning dark, she realized something simple, yet powerful. She had already been silent for years, and that silence had not protected her from pain. It had only hidden her from the world. She softly whispered to herself, "If I stay silent forever, nothing will ever change." That night she opened her notebook and began to write. Not perfectly, not confidently, but honestly. She wrote about her silence, about how words sometimes hurt more than they heal, about how people ignore quiet voices but forget that silence also carries stories. She wrote about pain, about strength, and about the courage it takes to speak after years of silence. Every word she wrote felt like breaking a chain. The day of the competition arrived. The hall was full of students. Everyone was confident, chatting, laughing, rehearsing their speeches. And there was Meera standing in a corner, holding her paper with trembling hands. Her name was called. For a moment her legs refused to move. Her heart was racing. Her mind screamed, "Go back." But something deeper whispered, "Go forward." She took a deep breath and walked to the stage. As she stood in front of the microphone, the entire hall went silent. People looked at her with curiosity. Isn't she the girl who never speaks? Meera looked at the audience. Her hands were shaking, her voice almost lost. But then she remembered all those years, all the words she had buried, all the times she stayed quiet when she wanted to speak. And slowly, she began. At some point in life, silence becomes louder than words. Her voice was soft, but real. The hall grew still. She continued, gaining strength with every sentence. "I stayed silent for years, not because I had nothing to say, but because I thought no one would understand." Now people were listening carefully. Sometimes silence is not weakness. Sometimes it is a heart protecting itself. But the truth is, silence also hides your strength. Her voice no longer trembled. It flowed. "I believed that staying quiet would keep me safe. But I was wrong. It only kept me invisible." The room was completely silent now. Not a whisper, not a movement, I stand here today, not because I am fearless, but because I am tired of being unheard. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't stop. If you have something to say, say it. If you have a dream, speak it. Because the world cannot hear a voice that never rises. And then she ended with a simple line. Your voice matters, even if it shakes. For a moment, there was silence. A deep, powerful silence. And then, the entire hall erupted into applause. Loud, long, real. Some people stood up. Some had tears in their eyes. In that moment, Meera realized something she had never felt before. She was heard. Not because she shouted, but because she finally spoke. After the competition, many students came to her. They said, "We never knew you had so much inside you. Your words touched us. You inspired us." Meera smiled. Not loudly, not dramatically, but peacefully. That day changed everything. She didn't suddenly become the most talkative person. She didn't change who she was, but she stopped hiding. She spoke when it mattered. She expressed when she felt. And most importantly, she believed that her voice had value. Years later, Meera became a speaker who helped others find their voice. People from different places came to hear her story, not because she was loud, but because she was real. And every time she stood on stage, she remembered the girl who once stayed silent for years. Because that silence was not her weakness, it was the beginning of her strength. Lesson of the story: silence can protect you, but it can also limit you. Your thoughts, your feelings, your voice, they matter more than you think. The world doesn't need perfect speakers. It needs honest ones. So if you've been silent for too long, maybe it's time to speak.